start a try. It's only $19.95, a low-cost way for you to sort of take it out for a test drive. Less than $1 a day. Go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4-RELIEF. See how you could live with less pain, and you can say yes to more of everything you want with Relief Factor.
Hormone therapy for menopausal women has been shrouded in confusion for years. Research testing one type was stopped earlier, more than 2 decades ago, because of concerns about increased risks of breast cancer and blood clots. Concerns lingered even through later studies showed that the benefits of today's hormone therapies outweigh the risks for many women. This summer, an FDA expert panel stressed the benefits of hormone therapy and suggested health warnings to be removed from at least some versions. Doctors are now trying to help people sort through the mixed messages and figure out what's best for them. Marian Baptist Church in Brooklyn marked its 175th anniversary on August 10th with the debut of the Audacity of Faith, Freedom from Freedom to, the first installment in a 6-part short document day. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. This comes under the category of, hey, be careful for what you wish for.
As AI becomes a part of everyday life, its massive energy and water needs are coming more into focus. For example, simple AI queries require more than 20 times the energy of a Google search that doesn't use AI. Generating a 3-second video uses the same energy as turning on a light bulb for a year. Technology is likely to stay.
Postal to end the horse-drawn carriages that have been fixtures in the green space for many years. Conservatives said in an August 12th letter to city officials, the popular tourist activity has an outsized impact on public safety and park infrastructure. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We haven't read a letter from a homeowner in a while, but this one was so good we had to share it. Quote, we moved to Columbia about a year ago, heard your commercials on the radio, never thought I'd be writing one myself. We needed a roof and called 3 companies, Bergen and 2 others. One claimed to be the best, the other the premium roof. Both were out of state owned. Seriously, one even they had somebody used to work for you. Shitty all around. Bergen was honest, up front, didn't take a dime until we were happy with the job. So Thanksgiving is still locally owned and operated, and always will be. No out-of-state investors pulling the strings, just a trusted team that puts homeowners first, not profit margins. If you're comparing roofers, ask who really owns the company. Bergen has served the Midlands for decades. Doesn't answer to any corporate boardrooms in another time zone. Just call the folks you can trust. Call Bergen, your neighborhood roofer, today. 798-ROOF. That's 798-ROO.
You're listening to the best of the Lars Larson Show.
Yes, Friday! Woo!
Welcome to First Amendment Friday. I'll put you in the driver's seat. You talk about what you want to talk about.
Government is the problem.
No topic is off limits.
We will make America great again.
Call 866-HEY-LARS. That's 866-HEY-LARS to speak your mind. Now, First Amendment Friday with Lars Larson.
You're listening to the best of the Lars Larson Show.
Back to Lars Larson Show. It's a pleasure. I will tell you that years and years ago, do it 23-inch ordinary way. That is, you give them a sample of your spit, is what it amounts to, and they sample your
Sniper scope, Smith & Wesson, stand opposed to every band. Gun control is a steady hand. So if you want it, you let the government take it. And understand tyranny is in my sight. And if you want it, you'll test your will, I'll break it. without a fight. There to stop the kings. Life without chains is what it brings. So keep them close and take a stand. Gun control is a steady hand. You let the gun and take it. None to say, contest your will, I'll break it. I will never give it up without a fight. It's another show. It's my best friend. It doesn't make a sound till I defend.
All right, great people of Columbia. Gene Garris here, America's radio show. Oh my God, I actually have a real guest, with a real person, a fully formed human individual. Dr. Casey Whitener is in for a while. Hopefully we can convince her to do the whole thing. And we had a little deal with our friend Lars Larson, who I've met in person at the SHOT Show.
Have you really?
And I gave him... so two people, Lars Larson, who used to be on the program, on the station, and then Mark Walters,
Sure.
who's the guy after me.
Sure.
Met them both, and I'd met them many times before.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 20-something years, the SHOT Show thing. And Kevin had sent me with T-shirts. So I got a picture of me and Lars Larson, Lars holding the T-shirt, and the same thing for our friend Mark Walters. And very, very positive. And of course, those folks are the best human beings.
As Gene texts.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, everybody, we both have our phones in our hands, and thanks for having me here, Gene.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
We are, of course, trying to get that Lars Larson program removed from our...
23 and me.
Yeah.
Still there, yeah. But we're just, meanwhile, just broadcasting over top of it. So hopefully everybody's hearing us instead of
we're just pulling Lars down, and we're going to make this work. And we've got it handled. It's going to happen on it's amazing. Kevin has these rock star engineers, and the rock star engineers are rock star engineering. And so in the next probably 10 minutes, before the next break, everything should be pretty good. So
they'll rid us of Lars Larson.
Yeah. But he's a great guy. And, he is right, sometimes correct on the left coast. But he was very pleasant, and he gave me a hat.
And you said you met him at what kind of show?
SHOT Show, the Sports Hunting Outdoor National Trade Show.
Okay.
So that's the one time I put on my journal. Well, there's other things too, but I go to these things, and that's one that I go to.
Yeah.
And for no kidding, like 22 years.
Oh, nice.
So lots and lots of fun.
Are you a shooting enthusiast? That's a hobby for you?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So my King of the Woods grandfather died when I was like 6 years old. So I lost out on that. And then my Columbia family, once they got off the farm, they were not going back. Okay. We were the small business people. And my dad, and he was a hunter, but he worked all the time.
Right.
And so that stuff never happened to me. I am a paper killer. I can hit a steel target. So that's
okay.
So I've never killed a mammal.
Okay.
And my kids, my oldest daughter, send me that picture.
She likes to hunt.
Well, she just did it while she was on visiting the family on the farms. My in-laws have a fantastic, just amazing amounts. They have 5 separate farms and a hunting lodge. So
right.
It's just a different scale thing. My grandparents had a 90-acre farm. I thought it was the Ponderosa. So that's it. Now I have 2 questions for you.
No, real quick, I have to tell you my response to that. I am outdoorsy as well. in that I like to drink on patios.
Hey,
that is the extent of my outdoorsy.
That counts.
Yes.
Well, that's
I enjoy it. What do they call it? Is it al fresco dining? I like patio experiences.
Okay.
And I have a backyard. I have a porch on my backyard. Yes. So that's my screened-in porch. Cocktails and football on my screened-in porch.
That is wonderful.
Extent of my outdoorsy.
Well, that counts. I mean that that all counts. But they can do all sorts of crazy computer wizard. It's all in the two.
If they're outdoorsy people and you've given them any kind of love of being outdoors, I would say for our kid, she's in the rowing club, the Columbia Rowing Club, and she does enjoy being out on the river as a rower. So there's that piece for her. So she finds it very peaceful to be out on the water. Yeah. So what? Anyway, you had two questions.
It's two questions, and then these are these are important.
Okay.
Have you ever run a business and been relatively successful?
I think I'm hitting my success metrics. Yes. It does not fund me as a full-time employee, but it does cover my summers, which is as a university instructor, I only get paid for 9 months. So I just need enough income for the summer, and this business pays for me over the summer. So it does what I need it to do.
Okay. That's the first question.
So, yes.
And these are, we'll talk a little bit about this in a second. And the second question is, have you run a family and been relatively successful at that?
I believe that in partnership with my husband, we together run our family. I feel that we are extraordinarily successful. Our daughter is a tremendous success. She is just applied to our alma mater, and we're waiting for her acceptance letter there. And she's a student council member, and she's a marching band member and adjusted. And so I think, yes, we're quite successful there.
Well, those are my two qualifications for anyone for me to vote for elected office.
Oh, okay.
That you should, before you tell me what to do, and interfere in my family, and interfere in my business, before you do that, you should be at least reasonably successful at those two things before you say, well, I'm going to intercede on your behalf and maybe ruin your life.
I fully respect that. And I will tell you this, as a potentially elected official, I have no intention of telling you what to do or interfering in your family life at all. That is just not who I am. In fact, I think the government should stay out of both of those things.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Very good. So you're running for the U.S. Senate.
Yes, I am.
From South Carolina.
From South Carolina. My first ever attempt to run for anything ever. And I've gone to one of the two positions in a state of 6 million people.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that is, statewide elected office, everybody gets to vote for you. It's sort of a big deal.
It's a huge opportunity to open up conversation with a lot of people about some things that I think have been under discussed. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm just trying to have a good time, go out there and have some good conversation with folks and help people think about things in a different way. And if I'm for them and I'm the choice that they want, then they'll show up at a midterm election, which, as you know, usually has low voter. One for them, then have to vote for me.
Well, it was either in 80 or 82. And he told me, if you want to sort through your friends, run for office. Yeah. If you want to sort through your family, run for office. And he told me a story. So when he announced that he was running, and it was for House District 79, I think, they did the thing in the newspaper, and then he got a check from a guy for $100, and he called him up and said, "Hey, I really appreciate your check. Why did you do that?" And he said, "I just wanted." And then people that you expect, sort of your fellow travelers, the people that you've been linked at the hip with for years and years and years, sometimes those people don't help you, and it's the randos, the random person that meets you and says, "Wow,
Sure. like right now, statewide office, it's even isn't it the clients that initial relationship with that client, the expectations are very clear. I do. Here's why I think this is a good campaign to run, and here's why I think we have an opportunity to change some conversation. And then there's people that are, well, you can't win. And you go, well, okay, so maybe you don't want to put your money in a campaign that the campaign can't win. And I understand that. I mean, it's very difficult for alternative parties to come forward in a state like ours. And so I understand there's some folks that are skeptical about putting their money behind something that they just feel like might be a waste of money.
Well, how about this? If the two big groups, if they can't stand up to an independent, they're pursuing the wrong thing.
Well, my goal is to get 1 million votes. So in South Carolina, in a 3-way race, in a midterm election, we need 1 million votes to win. And we have 1 million votes. And my goal is to who think that the government is not working for them. It's not working for us. And we should all step forward and say, we're done with it. We're done with Team Red. We're done with Team Blue. We think that the machinery isn't working. And we'd like to vote for something alternative. And if I can get 1 million South Carolinians to do that and step forward and give me their vote, then I'll be happy.
Well, doesn't it seem sort of like that's the trend anyway? Like our current chief executive of the country, he was a Democrat at one point, and at least 2 of his cabinet members or high-level executive office employees were Democrats within the last year. So, reaching out to that third option is darn right reasonable.
People are starting to recognize, I think, the machinery of the 2 major parties. And these are 2 corporations that have convinced folks that they are the government, and they're not. Their job is to elect candidates, and they do. And they make a lot of money getting candidates elected. And it's that money that drives them. It's the continued donors and the way that they're able to sell the government. They sell regulations, they sell legislation, they sell access to congressmen, and they generate a tremendous amount of money doing it. And then they pay consultants, and they pay data analysts, and they pay media personalities. They pay all these people. I mean, $1.8 billion spent on the Kamala Harris campaign last year, and that was a losing effort. $1.8 billion.
How many, was it 150 days?
Can you imagine how much good that money could have done if it had gone to things like charter schools, or if it had gone to community cleanup projects, or if it had gone to, tiny houses for homeless people? I mean, there's so many ways we could be putting really great money into our community. And instead, we're just feeding the beasts that are the Republicans and the Democrats. And they love it. They're making plenty of money, and they have no anything.
A quick break and be right back in just a few minutes.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia, your premium cigar retailer in South Carolina. We're constantly restocking our favorite brands and always getting new things in for you to try. If you're new in town, we pride ourselves on being the friendliest hangout in town. Come on in and check us out. You're Colonial Life Boulevard in the same plaza as the Melting Pot. And if you're new at cigar smoking, one of our friendly staff members can walk you through the humidor and find something you'll like. So stop by Colonial Village in Columbia.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
All right, so be afraid. We're back, and the calls are. Hold on, just a second. I'm missing my mouse pointer. It does exist. All right, we'll go to a call in just a moment. But you were in the Chucktown last weekend.
Yes.
Now, did you?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday too. Did they have flooding yesterday? Because
I think in the city downtown they did, but we were a little bit out of town. We were at the Charleston Rifle Association, and we were there for the Great American Picnic with the Charleston County Republicans. We'd been there. This is the second time I've been invited by a guy named Brian Groveman, who my sister actually met while we were on vacation in Florida, and he said he was from South Carolina. And my sister said, my sister's running for Senate in South Carolina. And he goes, really? Well, I'm in this Republican group. She should come and talk to us. And she goes, that would be great. And so we saw him yesterday. He was responsible for all the food. He did a fantastic job. And we were really happy. He was so warm and welcoming. And Charlie and I were both there all day yesterday. But I had printed these cool fans, like to fan yourself with, with my name and logo on them. And then we weren't outside because it had been raining. And so we were inside. So I have like all these fans.
It can still be hot.
I know. I'll be giving them out at the Clemson games because I'll be tailgating at the Clemson games. So yeah, I'll be giving them out. It'll be hot there.
Now, do you have a reserved Casey for Senate spot at Clemson Tiger Strong World University yet?
No. So what I have is my mom's tailgate spot. She's a McFadden donor, and our IP Day friends know what that means. She's a McFadden donor. She has a spot. I'll be at her spot, and I'll have my big banner up. I have a big 10-foot banner that's going to go on her parking tent. And so, yes, we'll have the tent and all that, and people can wander by and come see me. My mom's like, we're campaigning for you all season. It's going to be great. So, yeah, so we'll have that. And then, of course, we'll have the fans to give out to.
Well, wonderful. Wonderful. That will be wonderful. Can you take a call?
I can. I'd love to.
All right, and it might not be totally germane, but it will be a call nonetheless.
Sure, let's do it.
And we're going to say, hey, caller, how are you?
Hey, happy Sunday, guys. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. And this is...
I know, David.
That's right. This is Professor David, Professor de los Ciencias.
Oh, nice.
So we give people titles on this crazy program.
How are you, David? What's going on?
I'm good. I wasn't really going to be talking exactly just about this specific election, but one thing I kind of think about when I hear this whole, anti-Republican or anti-two-party thing is, one thing about Trump is he's really not your traditional Republican. And one thing I've liked about Trump is all these things. I kind of liken it to when you put the little laser pointer on the floor and you make the cat run around the room. He has been so skilled at that, whether intentional or not. Getting people chasing things, Gulf of Mexico, Canada, 51 states, kind of thing. And again, I don't know if it's by design, but it sure has worked that way where these people are chasing things that are not there and they're not really focusing on what's really going on. And he's getting us, but he's also getting us to talk about things we never talked about, or at least have not in a long time. Birthright citizenship, things like that. Whether these things work or not, he's at least getting these discussions going. And I remember the first time, it's going to be World War III. It's going to be World War III when Trump gets in office. And not only has it not been World War III, but just look recently, he kind of got things calmed down.
That was tough. That was tough, David.
Just yikes.
Well, here, this is a thing that should be happening in the that's where the idea come from, because the two big ones, they've already sold out. They've already got a cast and cadre of all the hangers-on and all the crumb crunchers and everything else that's trying to sup at your table. But the ideas come from the little parties.
I'll give a great example of that. The reason I moved into the Libertarian Party back in, I'm a former Republican who moved into Libertarians. And the reason I did was the idea of health savings accounts. So this is way back in the early 2000s. And my husband and I were brand new married. We didn't have any children.
Mm-hmm.
We were paying a lot of money for health insurance. We were both very healthy. We were both
young,
and young,
so it doesn't make any sense. You're wearing
exactly. We really shouldn't have been paying what we were paying for health insurance. There were these health savings accounts, and it was something that John McCain was actually running on, was health savings accounts. And I was all for it. I was like, "Hey, man, go after it. Let's do this. Like, that's perfect for people our age." And the George W. Bush campaign picked it up, and they ended up running with it, and then nothing ever came of it. Health savings accounts still only available for self-employed individuals. Whereas if we made them available for everybody, then young people who are relatively healthy, don't have children, right? They could get these high deductible, catastrophic insurance policies, but they could use their own money to pay for their own healthcare costs.
When you're 20, how sick do you get?
Right.
You're not having a heart attack. You're not having a stroke.
Exactly.
You're $140 sick.
Exactly. And so I really...
Y'all,
Go ahead, David.
Sorry, Kate, you said it currently, as of in like today, only exists for self-employed people?
That's my understanding.
That's not true.
It's only available for self-employed. No. Okay, well,
no, that's been a state thing for a long time. I actually had that Blue Cross Blue Shield, state of South Carolina, state employee Blue Cross. I had that. It was like a $3,000 deductible or some rate, crazy high amount, but I paid like $9 a month.
When you were a state employee?
Yeah.
And that's still available for state employees?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, that's a win.
Yeah.
That we won one.
Yeah.
Finally won one.
If that's available to current young people, I'm just curious why it's not better advertised and why they're not, because so now I've been in corporate, life forever. And then now I'm working for the university. And when I got my healthcare options with the university, I never saw anything like that as an option for me with the university.
Oh, that is that.
Yeah,
well, it is the University of South Carolina. No, I'm not going to. It's so hard. It's so hard.
It's not just because they're Gamecocks. It's not. They're a state agency like any other state agency, but I didn't see it available for me. But thank you, David. I'll look more into that and see who those things are available for.
Now, here's a thought of why. Well, here's a thought why people would not want that to exist, because young people that don't get $30,000 sick, if you pull them, remove them from the risk pool and give them a much cheaper, better for them thing, then the aged, the long in the tooth folks are other great people in the country. They don't have anybody subsidizing their stuff anymore.
Right. I mean, it's not a great deal for folks that absolutely need that high level of insurance, and it's not a great deal for the insurance companies. That's probably the primary reason that it's not as actively advertised or available as I wish it was.
Yeah, you could deductible, and through some other would not expire. So that way she was paying next to nothing.
Our insurance experts are on here if that's something that's available.
Yeah.
Hey, well, hold on, David. Hold on. We're going to have to take another quick break because we just got some stuff going. But hold on for just a few moments, and we'll bring you right back after this.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchen fire, some sizzle, start the part. This is 179.
Heads to call 800-367-2816 or biglou.com. With Sports, I'm Ken Moore. Ranger Suarez struck out a career-high 11 in 7 shutout innings and Philadelphia Nationals today. The night as the Mets, they were losers 4-3 to Atlanta today. Other National League Finals, Pittsburgh blanked Colorado 4-0 and Frisco. In the American League, Texas blanked Cleveland 5-0. The Chicago White Sox blanked Minnesota 8-0. It was Kansas City 10-8 over Detroit. And Baltimore edged by Houston today. The final there was 3-2. There's a larger contingent of Americans in the U.S. Open men's bracket than in any time in the past quarter century. And, well, frankly, some are saying it's the best crop in nearly that long. Maybe two of the leaders are proving that. Taylor Fritz and Ben Shelton got the tourney started today in dominant fashion. Going back to the baseball scoreboard, fifth inning finds Tampa Bay leading St. Louis 1-0 in interleague play. Cubs 4-1 ahead of the Angels in the sixth. In the National League, 1-1, Arizona, Cincinnati in the sixth. Dodgers, San Diego are also tied there in the sixth. It's 2-2. In the American League, it's 11-1. Seattle all over the Athletics in their game. President Trump says he's coming to the Ryder Cup in Atlanta. He says that the U.S. captain, should be playing in the match against Europe. This is SRN Sports.
I will not make any deals with you. I've resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own.
Your dad's meds at True Pharmacy.
Great. I hate that he can't read the small print on the bottles anymore.
No worries. John put on new Script Talk labels.
What's that?
It's a special label on your dad's prescription bottles that comes with a little listening device. And when he puts the bottle on it, the device reads the whole prescription label out loud.
Wow. How much does that cost?
That's the best part. Script Talk is free. True Pharmacy, the pharmacy that truly cares. Come see us at our new location at 623 Beltline Boulevard or Triangle Pharmacy in West Columbia.
Hi, it's Mary Catherine
and Thomas from Louisiana Purchase, inviting you to start your day sweet with beignets and coffee from 9 to 11.
Treat yourself to lunch at Louisiana Purchase and find one-of-a-kind gifts you won't see anywhere else.
Stop by Cypress Market for gourmet meats, cheeses, fine wines, and ready-to-go items.
Give your weddings, graduations, holidays, and office parties Southern flair with our catering and custom charcuterie.
Visit Louisiana Purchase, your taste of the South, all in one stop.
LouisianaPurchase.com.
All right, Rebel. I'm going to bring this down a little bit and bring our friend David, Profesor de los Ciencias, back. Thanks for holding on there, David.
And yeah, thanks, David. I went ahead and looked that up, and you're exactly right. HSAs are in fact available. They're just very highly popularized.
Yeah, no, like I said, I did it. So.
Yeah, young people should know.
And I luckily got out of it just in time. I couldn't have planned it any better when I got out of it, because I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and jump on it on the actual regular adult plan. And
regular adult plan.
Well, the responsible. I was living like a college kid until then, and then boom, once I do that, all of a sudden the doctor visits started popping up. So
right.
I couldn't have timed it any better.
Right.
Yeah, but when you're 50s or really late 40s, that's when all my bills, all the garbage that I did in the previous 40 years, when it all came due.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I had no problems, and then all of a sudden, problem.
Casey's going to find out when she hits 30, it starts kind of going down the hill a little bit. And
Aw, look how
definitely by
sweet you are.
it really goes downhill at 40. So, and Gene can tell us about 60. So
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm like 6 years away, but
No,
I'm
I've told
getting there.
you. I told y'all I'm 48 years old. My papa told me not to get into politics until I turned 50. And he said by then I would be ruined anyway. And I'm actually running for Senate after I turn 49. So I'll be in my 50th year when I run for Senate next year. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, that's going to be great.
Go ahead, David. Yeah.
The one thing I was going to say, I saw this funny video. It's all these people protesting free DC, and everything. Of course, I'm like, it's not even worth it being free. But I thought they were actually offering it for free. I'm like, I wouldn't take it for free. But the guy noticed that this was a black man watching the video going, he goes, it looks like a Starbucks opening. They're not the ones.
All right. Well,
chanting,
speaking on crime, just hold on for just a second. We just got a message from.
Yeah, I just got an urgent Carolina alert. Active shooter at the Thomas Cooper area barricade. I'll let you know when I get an update to that. But I just got an alert from our Carolina. So God help us, and hopefully this is a
my goodness.
hoax of some kind, and that people are safe.
All right, David. Now you're back. Sorry, David, about that. That's sort of.
It was like the Villanova thing where it's just, there was the whatever, the hoax or the computer generated whatever or something other. I guess the other day, I think that turned out to be not real or something like that. So hopefully it's the same kind of, like we saw here at Blythewood High School a couple years ago, many other schools around the state. Where
You don't even want to get me started on what happened at Blythewood High School. That was Holly's freshman year, and I'm still fired up about it. I'm still mad about it.
Well, here's something, and I know it's not it is a state issue. It's not a federal issue, but not allowing kids to have cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
That bothers me.
Me too.
That concerns me.
Me too.
And in loco parenti, I don't trust them. They've all good, but I don't trust them. I want them to be able to call me because I can make a change.
Yeah, I'm opposed to that as well. And actually, my daughter's been a big advocate against it. She's been somebody she's been to the school board, she's been to the state house, she's been to the South Carolina Department of Education, all telling them this is not a good idea. We're young people that need to learn how to be self-disciplined about when we use our phones and when we don't. And pretending like they don't exist is not the way you teach us how to be responsible with these devices.
Sure about mine because I keep hearing, hey, we're the only ones in school without them. So I'm like, well, good.
But yours are middle schoolers, David, and I'm with you on that. You keep that out of the hands of your middle schoolers because middle schoolers, there's just too much on there. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the rule is they're allowed to have them. The school, not my kids. They're allowed to have them, but they can't use them between 8 and 3:15.
Right.
But I imagine, like I would tell my kids if they had one, if there's something situation, you know what, call. I don't care what a rule is. If there's something serious going on, you call. That all rules go out the window at that point. But I'm trying to fight that battle of not getting them cell phones because I'm just trying not to be that parent. But
yeah, well, Holly didn't get hers till she was a freshman in high school, and it is right now the rule is bell to bell, so they're not allowed to touch their phones bell to bell. But there are a lot of arrangements that get made via cell phone, so pickups for after school lessons, practices, things like that, and they use cell phones constantly to communicate with people who are off campus, and to not even be able to use it between classes or during their lunch break or during a study hall is just treating them like prisoners. I mean, honestly, it's like treating them like they're criminals, and they've not done anything wrong. There's not any reason for that.
And who is the customer? Mm-hmm. As the taxpayer, I think I'm the customer, and I would like to be able to have access to my children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Right.
We're on the same page on this. That rule is terrible.
Okay, so one other election-related thing, but not yours, Casey. But I want to pick your brain and see if you come to the same conclusion I did early on within like seconds. So we saw this week Nancy Mace was touting out the whole. See, they dropped the case. Musgrave. I didn't defame him. Why did she give that talk about him on the House floor?
My understanding is that whatever you say on the House floor, you're not allowed to be prosecuted for. And
Right.
so she had her own immunity on the House floor. She
Right.
could say anything, whether it was true or not, on the House floor.
Right. And that to me is just, that's just sort of a icky.
What is icky? But think about our chief executive and how they say, oh, well, he has presidential immunity. Well, guess what?
Well, they all have it.
The Congress, both House and Senate, they have legislative immunity, and our friends that are in the Supreme Court, in that rogue branch of government, they've got immunity too from their decisions.
Well,
So-
and our police officers do in some cases too. Qualified
Qualified
immunity.
immunity.
That's what that's for. I mean, it's to protect people while they're supposedly doing their jobs and to enable
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
This is the same thing with tenured professors. The idea is to protect them while they are standing up to authority, while they are taking a risk. But the challenge is that that's not what it gets used for. It gets abused all day long. Right? And all of those
That's what
positions.
I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's my point. My whole thing is it's supposed to be somewhat related to your job duty.
Mhm.
I don't think her job duty is to talk about a man that harmed her. I guess she did make it into one because she made it a more general discussion and everything. But to me, it was very loosey-goosey with the rules. And I think she knew what she was doing by doing it there because she knew she would come under attack for it and then she'd have that card. But then for her to paint it as, oh, see, I didn't really say anything untrue or anything harmful about him, whatever. And that's not quite the whole truth of it. And to me, it's just kind of like, Gene, you talked about your criteria for who's a good leader.
Uh-huh.
I think there's only one candidate running for governor right now that actually has run a business.
That's
That would be
Pamela
Pam
Abbott. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, all the rest are career politicians. I mean, Ron, you can have a private background, but came from money. So I don't, that kind of lashes by it. But yeah, I mean, the rest are career politicians. But Pam Abbott, she's not.
All right, so hold on again, David, and we're going to take a quick one, and let me go ahead and hit it. And we'll take a quick one, be right back, and hopefully we'll be back on schedule. It's like noon on, but on night, 8:03,
South Carolina's printing powerhouse. Professional Printers is your trusted partner, bringing over 30 years of expertise in print and graphics. From digital printing to web and sheet-fed solutions, we handle it all with a team of over 100 dedicated professionals. Locally owned and operated, we have 2 locations in the Midlands and serve our customers with pride, ensuring top-notch service and quality in every project. We do it all, including storage and promotional products. Visit proprinters.com and elevate your printing experience with us.
Hi, we're Glenn and Melanie Matthews, your neighborhood partners from Modern Exterminating. Since 1955, we've shielded your homes from unwanted guests.
Corporate giants, door knockers, startups.
No competition for our 3 generations of trust and expertise in pest control.
Choose local, choose family, choose peace of mind.
Experience the Modern Exterminating difference. Call 803-765-2315 or visit pestfreesc.com today.
We are Modern Exterminating. It's your home. It's our mission.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia. When I stop by a cigar store, I always look for my go-to cigars and stock up a few of those, but I also look for something I've never tried before. Well, at the Cigar Militia, we specialize in a lot of small boutique cigar manufacturers. Come in and try a Don Kiki by Karen Berger or a Makaji by Ty Williams. We are the Cigar Militia at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard. Help us out, stock up, and review some of our boutique brands.
It's time to remodel. Actually, it's been time to remodel, but you still haven't started. Well, there's no better time than right now. I'm Eddie Springer of Trey-Cal Builders, and we really do make remodeling your kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, or whole house easy. At Trey-Cal, we'll help you every step of the way. We do first-class work quickly, cleanly, and affordably. Call 360-8211. 360-8211 or visit trecalbuilders.com. Trey-Cal Builders, quality from start to finish.
You're listening to Gene Garrett. It's on the radio.
Every time I look
right, so we're coming back. We've got Casey actually in the studio where she is much more familiar than I am. She's here 4 days a week, 5 days a week.
5 days a week, yeah. I was going to say, in the studio is not a weird place for me to be. I feel almost like I'm at home. Although I say with the WQXL for the Ascension Lutheran Church, and I want to give a quick plug for Sal and for what they're trying to do over there at Ascension Lutheran Church. They're basically trying to save the church. It's this beautiful historic building in North Columbia, it's just absolutely gorgeous. We had a chance to walk through there and all that. But I was laughing because I said this took me out of what I would normally be doing on a Sunday, which is marinating in my neighbor's pool, and I would not have been fit for radio by 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So I was glad to have been offered the alternative activity, which took me out of the cocktails this afternoon.
Well, almost every weekend I'm barely able to do this, but it's a wonder and a great thing to do it. And we're back with our friend.
One question for you, or as a rule maker of sorts, I guess. There's a lot of flack right now going around about these people posting videos of them going to grocery stores with their EBT cards, and all of a sudden the cash register is rejecting, the Doritos and the sodas and the candy bars and things like that. Being that this is public money, what would your thoughts be on something like that?
So I am somebody that believes in things like we should care for the poorest among us, and that a civilized nation and a very wealthy nation like ours should not have the levels of poverty that we have. I do not think that that's the place of our federal government to be working in the war on poverty. I think it's a failed experiment. It's been a failed experiment for a very long time. Yep. I think a lot of those programs are rife with fraud and corruption. I think there's opportunity there for reform, but really, ultimately, I'd like to see the private sector move in. I'd like to see charities move in, and I'd like to see us reward those charities for doing that. And those organizations that say we're glad to feed these folks, we're glad to offer help and assistance to our fellow man. People will do that. People will care for one another, and the poorest among us will be cared for. You don't need the government to do that.
Yeah, because if you saw someone on Facebook say, "Hey, I got these friends that are family, these friends that are down the street, and they're really in hard times and everything. They need some help." I'm not buying Doritos and a soda. I'm going to be buying them vegetables and things that are sustaining. I'm not going to go out and say, now, if they had small kids, I probably would get a little something, like, just because I want kids to be happy, even though it's junk food. But
let's be clear about this too. That's you taking your values and saying this is what's best for them, right? And you deciding in your heart, your mind, your thoughts of what you think is best, and saying that's what's best for them as well.
But with your money.
But I don't think the government should do that either. I don't think they should tell you what's best for you. I don't think they should put restrictions on what we're allowed to spend and what we should spend it on, except that it's not our money, right? And so that's the big thing. If we never took the money from the government in the first place, the government wouldn't have the right to tell us what to do with it. So let's just get out of that game altogether. And then we don't have to worry about what they're spending it on.
Right. But the way it's constructed now, if you're eating off of your neighbor's table, you probably don't get to pick the menu.
Probably not. In most cases, probably not, right? And then again, I don't think anybody should decide what's best for other people. I believe that people should decide what's best for them as individuals. And I think in any case where we think that we have we know what's best, and it's happening right now when we're told, what we should be investing in and what we shouldn't be investing in, and which companies are getting benefits and which ones aren't. And we think of corporate welfare where companies are getting these massive handouts from the government. I mean, then they're basically picking winners and losers. These are the companies that you should be part of. You should buy. I mean, this is the biggest thing now, right? People don't need cheap goods from China. You shouldn't be buying cheap goods from China. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to buy the cheapest thing you can find. And if that thing's available, that's the thing you're going to get.
Well, can you get a new charging cable for your phone and comfortably pay $20 for it? Because if you don't get it from China, it's going to be more than that.
Right.
And the ones made in China are that expensive also, unless you buy them direct.
So, on that note, this kind of segues to my next little point I was going to bring up with you, Casey. I now have a middle school percussionist. My Emily is going to be playing percussion at her middle school band.
I heart percussionists. There's two in my family.
I know you do. That's why I did. And I went to the store in town. I won't say which one, but I went to the store, and it was $39. And I said, well, let's see what it is on Amazon. And I looked on Amazon, and it was 33. And I thought, for $6, and I'm not trying to brag like I'm some great savior, but I said, for $6, I can put it in the pocket of a local business here versus who knows where this business might be from, whatever.
Oh, sure. Uh-huh.
So I was like, for $6, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do the whole like made in America kind of thing to, trying to support, businesses, keep them afloat, because
sure. Mm-hmm.
that $6 will come back, in some way. Now it has to add up. It's one of these, a lot of people got to do the same thing, but yeah, for $6, I was like, you know what? It was going to arrive tomorrow. It wasn't like it was going to be way late or something.
Right.
But
right.
I said, yeah, to me it's worth that. I put a price tag on supporting a local business that I want to be around and everything. So
yeah.
So the last big question I have for you, Casey, this is really kind of a tense question. I fear to ask this of you, but what is your score prediction for Saturday?
For Clemson versus LSU?
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Let's be clear. That's the game we're talking about on Saturday, right?
That's the one game Saturday.
I think Clemson's going to play very well against LSU. I would go 28-21. Clemson, 28-21. Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to be able to hold LSU. I do think LSU will score. They're a good team, but we're at home. Right. It's first game of the season.
Right.
Our guys are ready for it. They've been looking forward to it. And the last time we had a big team like this come into Death Valley that I can remember was when Auburn came in for the first game of the year years ago. When Auburn came in for that first game of the year, and they had just come off the national championship, and we put them in their place. Right. So I'd like to go back to those vibes and see if we can't have a repeat of that on Saturday.
A friend of mine, he was all scared. He's like, hey, I wish we could start off with a Furman or something like that. And I said, well, yeah, we got to start off with LSU, but I said they've got to start with us too.
Yeah. So, and they got to go on the road for it. They got to go on the road for it. So, yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Y'all have a great week. It's great hearing you from you.
Appreciate it, David. Well, I'm sure we'll hear from you later this week. I got 4 more days on the radio.
Yeah. That's going to be wonderful. And so David is gone, but we have another caller that we can take. Hey, caller, how are you?
Hey, Dr. Gene, just Sunday filibuster.
Yeah, well, no, it's fun. It's all fun, and we're taking calls, and it's rare that I have somebody in the room with me.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It is good to have Casey and to ask some questions, because that's what I called for, to ask her a few questions.
Excellent. I'm glad to field them and do the best I can to answer them.
All right, I'll try to make it succinct and to the point.
Or you can just wander, because I do that all the time. I just wander around it.
Talk about Trump and Biden. Yeah, I could talk about Biden. Let's do that. How about Obama? How's he doing these days? Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, hopefully nothing bad's happening at you.
Right, we'll keep you guys up to date when I get the next alert.
Find anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as food stamps, I heard everybody arguing about food stamps. I get both sides of that point. I don't think that, maybe there should be, I don't know, it's too complicated to go into on a radio show, but all I'm saying is, I think you're running as a libertarian, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, and that's me, because I've had this discussion with Kevin. I'm more of a libertarian type person.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I choose to give $10 to a homeless guy, I don't care if he goes and buys marijuana, oxycodone, Dr. Pepper. It's his $10.
Right.
At that point, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the way I look at it is, if he needs food, he'll buy food. And I've been addicted to cigarettes, and I've been addicted to caffeine. And if he's got a major addiction problem, and it's affecting the way he thinks, if he needs to fix that, that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling him how to lead his life. So,
I agree.
I'm a little more liberal on that part.
Do you feel that way about the money that is going through these taxpayer-funded systems? That like, hey, we've agreed to give them the money anyway, just let them spend it the way they want?
For the most part, I do, because I think you have to qualify to be given that money to a certain extent. And
right.
What leads me to another thing, when you're talking about NGOs, non-government organizations, they're a little shady, in my opinion, these days, because we got a lot of problems coming across the border with, good Christian charities. As much as I hate to disparage them, but, we're all doing the Lord's work. It's just everybody's got a different idea of what the Lord wants.
Right.
Well, I think some of our friends that are involved in that stuff, they're more associating with the horny guy with the tail.
Well, I agree. The NGOs, depending on how they're funded or whether or not they're receiving government grants and things like that. And a lot of times, I know everybody's heard about the USAID, the dismantling of USAID. A lot of times they end up being these kinds of shell corporations, shell organizations. They're not really doing what they say they're doing. And so it's really.
And even people like George Soros plowed like $200 million into a series of these things. And he got so much money back for the Tides Foundation and all these other things that it's like a 30-1. Oh, I'll put this here. And then the federal government's going to do the rest of the work.
The one big beautiful law actually put some dampers on charitable giving. That it's actually restricted some charitable giving to the extent that it's going to significantly cut in to those kinds of things. So it's interesting for me to even say that, but that's true. As I was going through the one big beautiful law, thinking, what are the benefits here? And I'm concerned on two sides of it. The one side of it is I want to see more charitable giving, but I am skeptical of, like you said, those ones that are maybe not doing the things that we think they're doing, or they're not quite as beneficial. We're not seeing the return on investment that we ought to be getting out of them.
And it's radically different from what we thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So when Doge went to USAID, I thought USAID was sort of like a charity thing where we send a whole bunch of wheat and Peace Corps people, and it makes America look good. It makes us feel good. And
soft power.
Yeah. And
right.
it's like a positive thing. No, that's not it at all. That's not it at all.
No, as my sister says, if it's too shady for the CIA, you give it to USAID.
Well, a lot of people say USAID is a CIA cutout. Hold on, Nick. We've got to take a top of the hour break, but we'll be right back on the other side. 803-799-8255. Groucho's Deli in studio hotline.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
States, even the reddest states. The Times says Democrats lost about 2.1 million registered voters between the 2020 and 2024 elections in 30 states, along with Washington, D.C., that allow people to register with a political party. Republicans gained 2.4 million. Ken Lorman reporting.
President Trump is eyeing Chicago as the next city to launch his anti-crime plans. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
After ordering a federal takeover of the Washington, D.C. Police Department and deploying National Guard troops to the streets here in the nation's capital, the president says Chicago could be his next target.
And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough.
The president claimed that people in Chicago are screaming for us to come. After that, he says he'll try and help New York. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Vice President J.D. Vance is defending the new congressional map recently approved by the Texas Senate. Vance said that Democratic gerrymandering has made these redistricting efforts necessary. Vance said all Republicans are trying to do is to make the national situation a little more fair. The map was adopted yesterday on a party line. President Trump had called for the new map to increase the House majority ahead of the midterm elections. This is SRN News.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting outside, getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pains, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your life. Head over to ReliefFactor.com. 195. Relief Factor is the daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by a team of doctors, it uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask the pain. It helps reduce or eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take Relief Factor, the more effective it is to get your days going without any pain. See if we get you out of it by taking their 3-week quick start. It's only $19.90 a day. Simply call Relief 800 wherever you're having pain, neck, hips, knees. Don't let it living the life you want to live. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Costco is staying out of abortion business. SRN's Michael Harrington reports.
The popular big box store says it has decided not to drugs in this country after months of entreaties by pro-life advocates. Walgreens and CVS are selling the pills after the Biden administration made it easier for them to do so. Alliance Defending Freedom said it's a good business decision, adding that the drugs are, quote, legally and politically fraught, raising significant reputational issues and driving away customers. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
Liberals are still pretty upset that President Trump has picked E.J. Antony to head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Economist Steve Moore admits he can't understand their anger.
I don't understand why they have this jihad against him. I mean, E.J. is one of the top economists and statisticians in the country. He'd be perfect for this. And I've talked to him many times about this. You know, he says we just have to get honest and accurate numbers.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Former Congressman Pete Campbell says you can expect some big changes to California's election map if the majority Democrats have their way.
What you want to do is take where you have pockets of Republicans and divide them. So you break them up. And where you have pockets of Democrats, you divide them as well in order to move them to where there are pockets of Republicans and make the numbers work so you have majority Democrats in more and more places.
Officials in Louisiana say crews are still on the scene of a fire at a large manufacturing plant that forced a mandatory evacuation order. Friday's explosion rocked the town of Rossland, east of Baton Rouge. As of last night, the fire was 90% contained. No injuries were reported, but Louisiana State Police are urging nearby residents to remain inside as hazmat teams collect samples in the area. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Tazima. Join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. for Small Business Saturday. We'll celebrate business owners in our community while learning their stories of success and failure. It's Small Business Saturday right here at 100.7 The Point.
Palmetto State Armory is on a mission of making freedom available to all Americans. And with retail stores across South Carolina and a fully stocked online shop, we're delivering freedom coast to coast. PSA is an American-made and veteran-owned firearms company built for those who believe in the Second Amendment and the strength of self-reliance. From suppressors, firearms, ammo, and accessories to fishing gear and apparel, we're more than a gun company. We're a movement. Visit us in store or online at PalmettoStateArmory.com. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
You're shaping our nation and our world. I'm Jody Heiss, filling in for Tony Perkins this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, Congress is still in recess, but our nation's capital remains the epicenter of major news stories.
I feel very safe now, and I'm hearing people are very safe, but I know that within 2 weeks it's going to be, Pam, it's going to be at a level that's even far superior. So I just wanted to thank you all. You're doing incredible. You're incredible people. You make the country run, frankly. You make the whole place run. We're going to have the best...
$357
Sniper scope, Smith and Wesson, stand opposed to every ban. Gun control is a steady hand. So if you want it, come and take it and understand tyranny is in the sight. And if you want it, protest your will and break it. I will never give it up without a fight. Isn't there to stop the kings? Life without chains is what it brings. So keep them close and take a stand. Gun control is a steady hand.
All right, and that's our buddy Dangerous Doug Kendall and his band Down Count, and I very much appreciate him allowing us to use that as the theme song of this AmericasRadioShow.com, and the site will relaunch shortly. I had some sort of weird takeover and had to wrestle with people from way away and not necessarily India, but at least they kept on farming me over to the chat bots, and we're picked up another caller, but we're going to let our friend Nick finish. Thank you so much for holding on there, Nick.
Yeah, but I'll try to be brief. All right. Just wanted to make a statement, and then I got a question for Casey again, but the statement was like, I know politics is a nasty business. It's everybody needs a dog. Nobody wants the fleas, but in this case, we get the bubonic plague here lately. So, we're talking about Miss Mace. I got no hard feelings for her either way, good or bad. But I just wish all our even more local representatives, like we hear on the Wednesday show, sometimes could keep it focused on the issues and not what's going on in somebody's marriage. I mean, if you're not breaking the law, I don't care what your marriage is doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's sort of none of our business, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm a representative, I don't need to be spending my time worried about what Jack and Jill are doing at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just my take on that.
Right.
Anyway, question for you. I'm not trying to make it a gotcha, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'll put it all out there.
Okay.
Kevin loves in-state gambling. He's a big proponent of gambling. I'm not. The reason I'm not, because I think it comes with too many fleas. Like I said, yeah, we get a lot of taxes from it. We could make a lot of money from it. But when you do the research,
of course, they're there.
Every state that has casinos has rampant, basically
problems,
human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your thoughts on that? And I'll let you go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate hearing from you always. So this is a hard one, especially for a libertarian, because you don't ever want the government telling you what you can and cannot do. But one of the things that we'll be working on in my strategic management class this semester is differentiating between businesses that are extractive and businesses that are value added. Businesses that are value added build communities up. They improve quality of life. They help individuals and families flourish. Those kinds of businesses would be things that provide outcomes that we all desire, things that we all feel good about on the other side. Extractive businesses prey upon individuals and they take in order to enrich. Now, there are people who are getting rich off of gambling. There are people who are making a ton of money, especially in online sports gambling. It is changing forever the way we watch sports shows now. I mean, you can watch ESPN, you can watch SportsCenter, you can see where
what's the line from Vegas?
They're all talking about the line from Vegas, and it's there's a corruption element there that changes what we all thought of as having purity inside these games. And was there always gambling around it? Yes. Was that always something that was available to people on a certain level? Yes. Is it something I think should be rampant and allowed nationwide? I think it's a good thing that the states are going state by state, and I think because as a senator for South Carolina at the federal level, I don't think there ought to necessarily be any federal action on this, but I do think that's worth it to do some inquiries into how these businesses operate, who's got access to these kinds of things. And we see things where young people are enticed to be part of these. We see people where we can also see some of the predatory things that happen within the apps, where the apps are programmed to entice you to gamble more when they know you're somebody who is an addictive gambler. You're somebody who consistently is looking at that app. And because we have so much data showing how people engage with those apps, then those predatory businesses, those extractive businesses can be even more predatory. And I think it's worth congressional oversight to say what's happening here. And do we have, a common sense of values about what we think is okay behavior and what we don't? And they did that with social media as well, right? So I think at the federal level, we start looking into these things. And I think at the state level, South Carolina has to decide what kind of state do we want to be and how do our citizens want to engage with these extractive businesses?
Well, I mean, that's a great thing, but nobody really loses out in the office football pool.
Right.
Because you know all those people, right?
I mean, I've always just give my money to the what is it, the Final Four brackets, right? Like every year I just give my money to that. Like it's just a donation because I never ever win those kinds of things, raffles and these kinds of things. And we have the lottery tickets, but I and a lot of times when we think about these kinds of things, they're voluntary taxes. They prey on people who, in a lot of cases have addictions that are just as serious as substance abuse. And I just think, if we want a society where people are safe and we care for one another, there's a way to create some boundaries. Are those legal boundaries? As a libertarian, I'm not in favor usually of government saying like, let's get in here and tell you what you can and cannot do. So I think it's a matter of us as a society figuring out what do we think is okay and what do we not think is okay.
Well, I have a problem with the mafia state that says gambling is immoral, but if you pay me, well, we'll do it. We'll set up our own thing. Drinking on Sunday is wrong, but you buy a special license, and it's like, yeah, but pay me. If you pay me, it's good.
Right. If it's for the schools, right? If we're doing it for the children, then gambling is just fine.
That's right. And some people would argue that public education in South Carolina is enough of a gamble. We don't need to do other things. And one of the problems I have with state-sponsored stuff is you still moving any of the pieces on the board around seems like a problem. I think things are a little bit better. I think we've I have seen the repopulation
moved into automation.
Yeah, almost. So we're going to take one, and we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia, your premium cigar retailer in South Carolina. You to try. If you're new in town, we pride ourselves on being the friendliest hangout in town. Come on in and check us out. You're still at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard in the same plaza as the Melting Pot. And if you're new at cigar smoking, one of our friendly staff members can walk you through the humidor and find something you'll like. So stop by Colonial Village in Columbia.
How does a car repair shop last in business for 50 years like Sudeth Automotive, providing honest auto repair? But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
All right, Gene Garris here with Casey Whitener, candidate for U.S. Senate. That's got to be sort of fun, just to do that, just to have that associated with you. Like, yeah, you're running.
Well, I don't do anything if it's not fun. So yes, it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun to say I'm a candidate for U.S. Senate, and it's way. Let me tell you, the most fun is when somebody goes, "What district?" And I go, "No, like the whole state, like everybody in the state." And then they're like, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." It's a big undertaking. It's a big, statewide election with 6 million people, 6 million plus people in the state. Having the opportunity to speak to as many of them as I possibly can, and maybe get to represent them, it's a huge deal.
Now,
huge deal.
Have you made a promise to the people of South Carolina, like, we have 46 counties, I'm going to visit everyone, or anything like that?
I haven't, but I could. I'd be glad to, actually. I want to talk to as many people as I possibly can. And if I could I will get to, if I can get to all 46 counties, I'd love to. I'd love to be on the ground, just feet in the street, out there chatting with people and understanding what matters to them, what their frustrations are. People, and I think a huge opportunity right now. We got to send somebody that's not beholden to the major parties.
Well, here's a crazy thing. So the government, so I was born here.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a birth certificate done by Richland County, not the federal government, Richland County.
Right.
I have a driving license issued to me by the state, not the federal government, but the state.
Right.
I have all these things. I have a professional license here and in some other states. That's a state thing. But it's the national government stealing all my money. But all my interactions with the important thing are the local people that I can theoretically fire.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like the people that do the least for me and are untouchable, those are the people that steal all my money.
Well, and remember too, and this is the most important thing to remember, is that is a institution that employs more people than any other institution in the world. Our federal government has more employees than any other single entity in the world. Right. So that's huge. That's a big deal.
You lived in Northern Virginia at
I
some
did.
point.
I did. I went to Herndon High School.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But do property values in the neighborhoods in and around DC, do they ever drop?
No, they just go up and up and up. And it's like a tsunami up there since I graduated in 95. And so after that, we get into in that 9/11 era.
Mm-hmm.
After 9/11, the Department of Homeland Security gets created. Right about that time, we're getting the internet is really getting up and going. We got America Online, like all these kinds of businesses are moving into that space. All the federal government agencies are going to upgrade their software. So you get a ton of people that are moving in that space to sell software to the government, sell security to the government, all that kind of thing. The government contractors came in masse to the Northern Virginia area. And that place is not even recognizable now from what it was when I was there. And I'm not saying it should be that way. I mean, I was there in 95. So obviously things are going to change. But I mean, it's incredible.
So if tomorrow you found yourself in the U.S. Senate,
Mm-hmm.
would you support moving some of the national agencies out of D.C. and maybe to Oklahoma? Maybe to Alabama, maybe to Minot, North Dakota? Would you be willing to move things around?
I love this question. I love the idea of a decentralized federal government. I think we do have some decentralization already in the federal government, but really let's just make it smaller. Let's just make it smaller.
And I don't know if you remember this, but Ross Perot said, it's stupid to have all these embassies. All you need is a fax machine. and in modernity, he's super right. But we have a caller, and we'll go right to the caller and say, hey, caller, how are you?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Tim, the leader of Timocracy. What's going on?
Going.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah. I just want to say, how you doing? But anyways, gambling destroys families.
Right.
And also, Nick was wrong in his earliest assessment that it doesn't matter what the personal life of a candidate. Yes, it does, because the fish rots from the head down. So you got someone who has a lot of rotten stuff in their personal life. For example, the guy in Washington, then that's going to trickle down.
Oh, Chuck Schumer?
So many guys in Washington. But I'll say this with Tim. I'll agree with this with Tim, because you're trusting these people to do work on your behalf. And if they can't even be trusted to stay faithful to their spouse, how can they be trusted to do anything else? I mean, I have
Exactly.
I have a fidelity piece there as far as that's
Exactly.
concerned, and I think there's a respect factor in that case, and I'm with you on that. Although I don't want to be up in their
Yeah.
business, I do think that we're talking about character, and we're hoping that people are going to be up there doing the right thing. And how can you trust that they are going to be up there doing the right thing if what you know of them in their personal life or in their private life is crazy shenanigans?
And these might be people that
Yep.
you have taken oath to protect and defend the Constitution.
How
And
do
you're
you
like,
know they even trust that oath?
well, I was in the church when all their friends and family were there supporting them, and they also took the sort of an oath then too.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm with you, Tim.
Yeah,
I think
but
it
the fact
matters.
is- yeah, it does. Because the fact is, I appreciate it. Yeah, the fact is someone is that corrupt and don't really believe in their oath and stuff, in their personal life. I mean, how the world are you going to care about somebody else? And also this thing with Trump running around, all of a sudden going to cities and city tour. I mean, as I do know what's going on there. He's popping the city and city, talking about we need National Guards here and there. What Donald Trump is doing is, I think, a dry run for martial law. Because like my son went to Washington D.C. last year, and for a school trip, and nobody there said they were scared or anything. They all walked around by the monuments and stuff. In the grave thing, memorial, all that stuff. And then I was there a few years ago myself as well, and I didn't feel that at all. That's the last thing in my mind. Worrying about a carjacking or a robbery and stuff.
But there used to
And then
be
now he's
some
out.
détente between the criminal class and the federal government. And the federal government allowed things to exist in neighborhoods that are intolerable on the mall. That they're placing in the same way, like our friends in France have no-go areas of Paris. There are difficult places in DC, but don't bring that crap to the mall. And that's when the force really comes to bear, because that's when the people from Iowa and South Carolina and Alabama are visiting.
Yeah. Well, every city has that pretty much. I mean, every city has a ghetto in America, and every city has a slum, and every city has a don't go here area.
Yeah.
So
earlier in the
Trump,
year, I had a professional event that I had to go to in St. Louis, Missouri, and a friend of mine said, "Do you have a vest?"
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, "Well, what kind of vest? A bulletproof vest?" And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Don't go to East St. Louis then." Well, I wasn't going there anyway, so.
Yeah, I live there actually. Yeah. I think I was just 9 years in St. Louis, and St. Louis has I went visiting there a few years ago, and the guy told me the subway is now kind of dangerous now. Now St. Louis has changed over the years, and it has a large part to do with the gun laws too. Now anybody can walk around with a gun. 15-year-olds can walk around with.
Well, darn it! I wish I'd known. I would have brought one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's kind of rough now. I mean, that city, things did change, and that's because of the legislation. Pretty much, they help reduce that problem. So, St. Louis, you gotta be careful in certain areas there. But Donald Trump is basically trying to gaslight and trying to create this condition where he's trying to get people used to that, so he can help throw his election. I mean, right now he's trying to set up cheating already. He's talking about this the primaries.
A new census. We're going to have a new census to deal with all the people that got booted from the country.
When you talk about voting system or census stuff or voting machines or
no, that's not true. We've always had problems. We've always had problems. Yeah, the Johnson presidency was largely affected.
I'll tell you what.
That.
Okay, that's true. How did Donald Trump win last year? So I'm saying also now,
too big to rig. That's how. The same how we won in 2016. It should have been the other lady.
So
no, BS. Donald Trump won. Donald Trump won legitimately the first time, and then Joe Biden won his race the last time too. And Donald Trump did win this time. This time legitimately, he's trying to make it like that they changed the rules. They guard the voting stuff and all that kind of crap. Like as if Mexicans can vote. I mean, illegal Mexicans can vote. He put that mess out there, and a lot of people his followers believe that a non-citizen can vote, man. That's crazy, man.
I think
So he's trying to
real quick, Tim, I want to ask you about this. So do you find that there's so much that gets said, there's so much that gets put out in front of us that it's difficult to discern between like what's real and what's not, and what matters and what doesn't? I mean, and I think David mentioned this when he called in, like the idea of like the Gulf of America and like Canada becoming the 51st state and all.
Who's David? Where's David? Where's David? Where's David? David the scientist?
David the scientist.
Yeah, all that stuff
Okay,
that
well-
goes in front of you. Do you find that it's hard to keep up with like what should we really be understanding and knowing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And that's why I watch about 20 different news channels,
Mhm.
you know.
Sure.
All, one by one.
Sure.
You know. Yep, all sorts of Republicans, liberals, and independent, everything. I watch everything.
So,
And that
Tim,
I can-
what is the best international news service?
Okay, well, there's quite a few. There's Al Jazeera.
That's mine. Al Jazeera is mine. And it's no opinion.
Yeah.
It's no opinion. It's like,
Yeah.
this happened. And it's not like,
I
well,
love that you said that, because back when I was working on my PhD on my dissertation, I was looking into Muslim extremists and Islam extremists. And so Al Jazeera was my homepage on my internet browser because I was reading up on all that stuff. And I was like, well, I'm on the NSA's list now because Al Jazeera was my homepage.
Yeah, we didn't realize it was
Yeah.
so great until 16 years ago. My wife and I went to Egypt
Exactly.
for 10 days
Mhm.
and we're staying with a family friend and watching her
Mhm.
television. And we're like, two things: Al Jazeera was good news, and the BBC
Mhm.
style channel was
Yeah,
pretty darn
he's pretty
awesome.
good too. Yeah.
BBC, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
maybe
thanks a
just
lot,
maybe-
Tim. We're going to let you go, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate you so much. I know you're a regular caller and a good listener, so we're grateful to you.
And we have just had somebody call in, and I've got them on hold. We'll go through the break, but
Okay.
tell me, what are your big things? What are the big things that South Carolina needs fixing in our relationship with the national government
The
that a
most-
senator could make a difference in?
Most important thing to me is national debt. That is the most important thing. It is an existential threat. It is driving us toward total ruin, and our government is spending like drunken monkeys. And nobody has the guts to stand up and say, let's stop. Well, that's not true. There are a couple of people, but they keep getting primaried and thrown under the bus. So let's quit the reckless spending and let's kill the national debt.
All right, we'll be right back after the bottom of the hour news. Gene Garris, AmericasRadioShow.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is SRN News. National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. are set to begin carrying firearms tonight. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said on Friday authorized 2,000 troops in D.C. to begin carrying weapons, although Guard members will continue to focus their work on protecting federal assets and providing a safe environment. Test flight number 10 is expected to get underway here in a bit, and the latest launch attempt comes after three catastrophic in-flight failures in a row. So the hopes are that this will work tonight. SpaceX will not attempt to recover the rocket booster at the Starbase facility, and instead is planning on a splashdown off the Gulf Coast. This is SRN News.
Hey, honey, I just picked up your dad's meds at True Pharmacy.
I hate that he can't read the small print on the bottles anymore.
No worries, John put on new Script Talk labels.
What's that?
It's a special label on your dad's prescription bottles that comes with a little listening device. And when he puts the bottle on it, the device reads the whole prescription label out loud.
Wow, how much does that cost?
That's the best part. Script Talk is free. True Pharmacy. Pharmacy cares. Yes, at our new location, 623 Beltline Boulevard, or Triangle Pharmacy in West Columbia.
Hi,
Hi, it's Mary Catherine
and Thomas from Louisiana Purchase, inviting you to start your day sweet with beignet coffee from 9 to 11.
Treat yourself to lunch at Louisiana Purchase and find one-of-a-kind gifts you won't see anywhere else.
Stop by Cypress Market for gourmet meats, cheeses, fine wines, and ready-to-go items.
Give your weddings, graduations, holidays, and office parties Southern flair with our catering and custom charcuterie.
Visit Louisiana Purchase, your taste of the South, all in one stop.
LouisianaPurchase.com.
All right, so we're back. Gene Garris here with Dr. Casey Whitener, candidate for U.S. Senate from the greatest state of South Carolina. And so bring this down. And we do have now we picked up another caller.
Excellent.
So very, very popular. We'll go to our first caller and say, hey, caller, how are you?
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
Good, thanks.
Better because you called. Oh,
did we lose him?
Yeah, we lost him. But we're going to jump to the next one.
Give us a call back, man. Sorry we lost you.
And say, hey, caller, how are you?
Yes, you insulted him, Gene, when you said that you're better because he called.
Yeah. Well, evidently he knew something that I did not. But sometimes I talk in a cryptic way.
Well, sometimes if you're in your car, though, and then you turn the car off, the call will drop. So it could have been that, too.
One of the most annoying things is when you have a car where the Bluetooth is always sort of active.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking on your phone and you walk to into your backyard and all of a sudden your car seizes the call and you can't get it back.
I've done that before. It's the worst.
What I find more aggravating is that you can hear when you're walking, because I don't drive and I'm walking around my complex, my condo complex. You hear people on their Bluetooth, you can hear it through their car.
Yep.
I mean, you can hear their whole conversation. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that I really don't want to hear what you're talking about, but that's fine.
Unless you do.
Unless you do. I can really, I can listen on this radio station and get all the gossip and all that stuff I need to listen to than to listen to someone else's. I find this more entertaining than listening to people's phone calls.
Glad.
So that's why I listen, and that's why I call in, as I find it entertaining and fun to do. Regarding gambling, well, let me spell out bingo. I mean, I don't hear anybody complaining about that, and you got those places all over the place. You got these grannies, and not just grannies, that have 70 bingo cards sitting in front of them, with their little stamper stamping the things. I don't hear people complaining about that money. I mean, the truth is this. If I want to place a bet, all I have to do is get on my smartphone, get on my computer, or even just make a phone call to someone who lives here in town and place a bet. And our state is receiving nothing from that bet. And it is going on widespread all over the place. I mean, there's people making bukus and bukus of money off of that type of gambling that they're getting, that are just here in the city, not to mention the whole state.
But why do you think our state should make money off of what other people choose to do with their money? Why are we entitled to that?
Especially if it's a
I'm
private person-to-person exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're going through a bookie, the bookie's making a piece of the pie.
Right.
You got to pay him. So why shouldn't the state be getting to pay instead of the bookie getting to pay?
If the bookie is running a business, right? If it's a gambling business inside the state, and then they should be subject to business laws, just like all the other businesses that are making profits inside the state. If the bookie is running a business illegally and around the law, right, then that's a black market business. And the idea there is how do you tax them? If you do tax them, how do you find them and tax them? And usually what happens is when people find out that that's what they're doing, SLED shows up and shuts them down, right? I mean, that's the idea. It's because it's illegal in this state. I'm against taxation in general, and I'm against the idea that we think that the government has a right to the money that we've earned in a a relationship where you and I have both agreed that I have something you want and now you've paid me for it. I don't see that the government has anything to do with that. And so I have a hard time saying like that just because people are operating businesses and they're not paying taxes on them. But I'm like, well, but we do have business taxes in this state and they are breaking the law if they're not paying the taxes the way they're supposed to.
But on your tax form, you have a line for gambling income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a bookie,
federal,
and you fill that out truthfully and said, "Oh yeah, I made $100 million last year on gambling income."
But the bookie isn't gambling. The bookie is processing transactions. It's the gambler that's taking the risk, right? Like the bookie, all he's doing is he's just creating transactions.
But this is on
he's
income.
Making money if you win or lose.
Right.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So he's operating a business, in which case, as long as we have business taxes and he's operating a business, then he needs to pay business taxes. But again, right. I'm against the business taxes too.
Now here's a question, Andy.
But it'd be an entertainment tax, correct? Because you'd look at gambling.
Who places the bet?
Yes.
I mean, do we pay extra taxes on going to the movies? That's entertainment, right? Do we pay extra taxes on playing golf? That's entertainment. So no, I don't think so.
Well, I haven't played golf in a long time, but I'm sure in your green fees that there's taxes that are included.
Right. There's sales tax. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the transaction.
Well, here's one question: more legal and in the black market, or is it better to legitimize it by putting it under loving government's iron fist?
Well, that's a good question, not just in gambling, but in the marijuana trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a pinch.
What's it better for, to have a black market where people who are buying it even realize it's actually laced with something that could kill them?
Mm-hmm.
Or something that could be controlled, or I say controlled, something that, the government is make sure there's nothing in there that, could be or now, the fentanyl or whatever in these days.
Or that there's recourse.
Instead of it being,
there's recourse for the buyer. If I buy something from Gene and he sold me some bad weed, right? If right now there's nothing to do about it, I just have to not buy from you the next time. But if it were a legal trade, like that's a legal regulated industry, I could go to the police and say, "Hey man, this guy's ripped me off," right?
He poisoned me. He sold me. He lied.
That's right. That's right. He poisoned me.
Well, so does that mean in Colorado, if I go there and I buy some herb and I don't like it, I can go to the police and say, "Hey, this dispensary is selling me crappy smoke. Can you take care of them?"
I don't know that the police are going to do much for you, but you could go to the Better Business Bureau and you could put the review on Yelp, right? You could be public about it, and that place will get shut down. And over time, if they continue to sell bad product, of course that business will shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the gambling thing, everybody's making it out to be, it's such a bad thing. Well, you know what? There's just so many people that are involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, I know people from a long time ago that have taken gambling money and turned it into legitimate businesses. And I guess it's laundering of money.
Yeah, just cleaning
it
up.
Way.
Sure.
And, these people make a lot of money on Saturdays and Sundays during football season, and not just on Saturdays and Sundays when you get into baseball season, boxing matches, whatever sporting event you want to do, horse racing, whatever. There's a lot of money that flows through. And my feeling is, I know libertarian doesn't, no taxes, whatever, but we're not in a pure libertarian society. While we're not, why shouldn't we get a little piece of the pie to help? I mean, I would say roads, but we've thrown enough money into our roads and see that they haven't done a thing with that.
Do you know, Andy, that was a traveling group of people that's all they do is go to different states and sell them on raising the sales tax to pay for roads. They travel place to place.
Huh.
Well, I'll tell you what. When they cross from Georgia into South Carolina, they really have a good sales pitch.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're on 95 and you're coming in from Georgia into South Carolina, I'll tell you what. You better hope your car's put well together, because if not, you're going to have pieces of your car laying on the side of the road that are falling off because of the terrible roads that we have on 95.
They just big to-dos from the State House and the governor's mansion. They were all down there with shovels in their hands, breaking ground on what the new highway stuff they're going to do on that portal.
Well, they're about 20 years late on that, but let's pray to the Lord that it's not going to be kind of like, what's that road out here in the Northeast?
Hard scrabble. 8 years. 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's been going on since I've been a 5-year-old kid, and I'm 65 years old.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Now,
here's and by the time they get it finished, it's going to be time to redo it.
So Casey and I both were graduated from Clemson Strom World Tiger University. While I was there, they repaved College Avenue 3 times. It was so perfect you could roll a marble down it. It was amazing. But South Carolina is half the size of North Carolina. But for a long time, we had twice the amount of paved roads as North Carolina did, because we had a lot more graft and corruption.
Right.
Somehow the road builders have found a way to get the money without building the roads.
Oh, and they found a way to name a road after their benefactor, Hugh Leatherman.
Yeah.
'Cause when we drove down to Charleston yesterday, we saw that Hugh Leatherman Port, I guess is what they named after Hugh Leatherman. But
the man who ripped us all off there, the King of Florence up there in the cement mixer. But two last things. I'm sure y'all saw the guy who announced that he was going to run for a Democratic governor. Democrat running for governor.
The underwear
That night
guy.
they found him out in Charleston on the Battery in his boxer shorts and slippers.
Bless his
That's
heart.
a nice
Bless his heart.
photo op right there.
Bless his heart. We are all we are all just dwindled down to our worst moment in life, aren't we? I mean, we just really are the absolute worst moment of your life, and that is it. That is the
Well, how about this?
defining
At
thing.
least you know where the basement is. At least.
Well, we hope that's his basement. If he goes any lower,
bless his heart.
I mean, what else could he do? And Casey, as I said since you announced, I'm all behind you. I think what you're doing is a great thing, and I hope you can really make some inroads into what is going on inside our state and outside of our state in this political situation, because I think he would be a fine representative of our state and for our country.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Experience South Carolina's printing powerhouse. Professional Printers is your trusted partner, bringing over 30 years of expertise in print and graphics. From digital printing to web and sheet-fed solutions, we handle it all with a team of over 100 dedicated professionals. Locally owned and operated, we have 2 locations in the Midlands and serve our customers with pride, ensuring top-notch service and quality in every project. We do it all, including storage and promotional products. Visit proprinters.com and elevate your printing experience with us.
Hi, we're Glenn and Melanie Matthews, your neighborhood partners from Modern Exterminating. Since 1955, we've shielded your homes from unwanted guests.
Corporate giants, door knockers, startups.
No competition for our 3 generations of trust and expertise in pest control.
Choose local, choose family, choose peace of mind.
Experience the Modern Exterminating difference. Call 803-765-2315 or visit pestfreesc.com today.
We are Modern Exterminating. It's your home and it's our mission.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia. When I stop by a cigar store, I always look for my go-to cigars and stock up a few of those, but I also look for something I've never tried before. Well, at the Cigar Militia, we specialize in a lot of small boutique cigar manufacturers. Come in and try a Don Kiki by Karen Berger or a Makaji by Ty Williams. We are the Cigar Militia at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard. Help us out, stock up, and review some of our boutique brands.
It's time to remodel. Actually, it's been time to remodel, but you still haven't started. Well, there's no better time than right now. I'm Eddie Springer of Trey Cow Builders, and we really do make remodeling your kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, or whole house easy. At Trey Cow, we'll help you every step of the way. We do first-class work quickly, cleanly, and affordably. Call 360-8211, 360-8211, or visit trecalbuilders.com. Trey Cow Builders, quality from start to finish.
Here's another call. So there's another call.
All right, so we're back, and this is going away. It just like that. It just goes away. It just goes like when I do the afternoon drive. After I'm like, yeah, I'm Gene Garris filling in for Kevin Cohen. And it's like, because we always run out of time.
Right.
But we do have another caller and say, hey, caller, how are you? Doing better. You called.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, I called a couple of weeks ago. I don't think you understand.
Sorry, really quickly.
Oh, hey, hold on just one second.
I'm sorry, really quickly. I just wanted to give everybody an update. Carolina, there is still no evidence of an active shooter. Police are still searching the area. So while Carolina had given us an alert that there was an active shooter, now they're saying there isn't one. They don't have any evidence of one. May very well have been a hoax.
Yeah, thank
sorry,
God.
Caller,
Thank God. If that's
didn't mean
the
to
case.
interrupt you, but I wanted to get that message out as quickly as I could.
Oh, yeah, that's more important. Since y'all aren't big tax people, I want your thoughts on this. A couple weeks ago, I talked about how the semiconductors, NVIDIA and AMD, were giving Trump like 10% of the sales to do business in China. And since then, the government has taken a piece of Intel.
Yeah,
And to
10%
me,
of Intel.
this is the worst thing the government can do, because if it starts here, when's it going to end?
Mhm.
President AOC can say, hey, Walmart, give us money. You know, it's going to happen.
Mhm.
The governor of California can say, hey, you can't operate in the state unless you give us a percent. And to me, that's the worst thing that Trump could do. And the fact that everybody's hush-hush, nobody's comes out against it, I mean, it boggles my mind. So that's a pure dictatorship right there. Take control of public businesses should be a no-no. And why people are letting Trump do it just boggles my mind.
Yeah, that's a good question. But, you know, should the national government have bailed out General Motors? The answer is no.
Right.
Should the national government have supported a lot of these things, kept them in business? The answer is no.
Right. 100%. The government doesn't have any business interfering in markets. And when companies can't survive, those companies ought to fail. We think back to the 2008 crisis where the banks were really struggling and the banks are going down. There was this whole conversation around too big to fail. Nobody went to jail for the CDOs, which are those really what should have been illegal, but they weren't. Repackaging of mortgages they looked like good investments, but really they were bad investments. They were laden with bad mortgages, and nobody ever went to jail over that. And then we see all the banks getting plenty of subsidies and plenty of money to keep them afloat with the idea that, well, if they were to fail, then they would hurt everybody else. Look, what happens when a business fails is the other businesses come in that are successful and buy it out. And then we have a better marketplace. It's outrageous. And I'm with you. The Intel, the 10% in Intel is a precedent that I don't think we want. And I think people ought to be saying this is not the right thing to do. But the CHIPS Act in general was trash legislation. And I said that when it first came out, because all it was corporate giveaways.
Right.
It was federal government to prop up companies that had no business staying in business. You know, you gotta let those companies do what they need to do and compete. And if they can't compete, they've got to be allowed to fail.
And remember, it's the same government propping up some things, and also the same people that push NAFTA through and close down all the plants in all the South Carolina towns and all the North Carolina towns and all North Georgia and Tennessee and Virginia and West Virginia. All those textile industries just went away because you can't compete with slave labor. We actually have a different caller now.
Oh, I'll just say one more thing, and that is that protectionist policies that we put in place to protect certain industries or protect certain companies are a bad idea, but they are 100% fueled by political campaign donations. And the idea that we have two major corporations running our candidate funnel, which is the Republicans and the Democrats, they're 100% corporations that are accepting money in order to make regulations and make legislation that benefits their benefactors. And let's be clear, that's what's happening. It's not one side or the other. It's absolutely both.
Right. And that's the whole thing about picking winners and losers.
And the government ought not to be doing it.
Right. They should not have the ability to do it.
Mm-mm.
All right. And we're going to jump right back to the calls and say, hey, caller, how are you?
Good evening. How are y'all?
Doing great. Thanks.
I know both of y'all are doctors, so I want to give y'all that respect. Good evening, doctors.
Appreciate that.
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background. I call the station quite often. I've been listening to Kevin for a long time. I'm African American male. I'm 52 years old, right? So I realize that you're running for Senate, and I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I was raised as a Christian. I'm not really super religious, but I was raised with those values. And based on that, I usually vote Republican. Since I've been actually active politically, I've never really voted for a Democrat. I stood in line to vote for Obama, but I think he was president before I got a chance to vote, so I left. But I actually voted. True. But I actually voted for Trump, and I got politically active after that, and I've been voting for Republicans. But I'm calling because I heard y'all talking about weed. In my day when I grew up listening to hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering where you stand on that, because I feel like it should be legal. I feel like it should be, registered or manufactured by the government, however you want to look at it, just so that you're getting stuff that's safe to smoke. And then my second thing is that you talking about 30 years ago, right? I was convicted of a felony. I used to sell narcotics. And, at my time, everybody sold narcotics. It was the thing to do, But I'm 52 years old now. I haven't been in no trouble. Even for the felony that I got, it was just selling narcotics. It was not violent. But I will never be able to own a gun again. And to me, that's not right. And I realize that people they're not concerned, because who wants to fight for the rights of a felon? You know what I mean? So it's not a good talking point, but thank you.
But the debt's been paid. The debt's been paid.
I agree.
You submitted before the justice system, and the debt's been paid.
I agree.
So you should be restored.
Agreed.
You should be able to vote.
I do vote now. Don't get me wrong, but as far as I understand, I won't ever be able to own a gun again. And when I say own a gun, I can't even just go to the range and shoot and leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering where you stood on those issues, and I can hang up and listen. Thank you for the time.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're in my generation, so yay, Gen X. I would say has on the first one, on the marijuana one. I do think we should remove it from being Schedule 1, Schedule A, whatever.
Yeah, because that's a lie.
It's
just
a
not
lie. True. That was 100% one of those protectionist regulations we were talking about that was put in place by the alcohol industry and the tobacco industry that wanted marijuana to be made so terrible that people wouldn't use it as a substitute for their products. So it's a lie.
That's a crazy thing, because in some of the states, it's legal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had to go through a political process to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the interest that gave money on the other side. And it was big beer, big pharma,
Mm-hmm.
private prisons, and sheriff's organizations.
Right. So that I would say 100% it should be removed from that. And it should be, I am somebody that likes to push things to the states. So I do think the states should be able to make these choices for themselves. And I regret to say this, but I don't think in South Carolina that's ever going to be something that gets legalized in South Carolina. There is a strong lobby against it. We've got a current attorney general that absolutely crusades against it. Our South Carolina law enforcement division has been known to burn down acreages of hemp product. I mean, there is just
come in foul of the law,
Mm-hmm.
where the head had to pay out of his own pocket,
right,
ordered by a judge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of a big deal.
This in our state, but here's what I think. I think most of those kinds of things ought to be left to state legislature, and we ought to try to make that work here in the state. On the felon piece, I think It's double jeopardy to have permanent conditions for folks that have, especially when those crimes are committed when those people are young. And in the case of a narcotics charge, no victim, no crime. So in that case, really that particular charge, this late in the game, I think, you've obviously proven you're a upstanding citizen, and there's ought not to be any reason that you shouldn't be. But here's the thing: these kinds of things, like saying we won't ever let a felon have a gun ever, these are those compromises that get put into legislation where you don't have people that are willing to vote for things like concealed carry. You don't have people that are willing to vote for specific, gun laws. And so you say, well, we're going to put this particular protection in place. That's the compromise piece. And it just makes, additional. And you said it yourself, people don't want to advocate for felons. And it's easy to say, those aren't my constituents, right? I don't care. And it's okay for me to continue to punish these people for bad decisions that they made. And I just don't think that's fair. Morally, I don't think it's right.
Well,
as
how
a
about this in a
representative.
practical manner? Let's say that you get popped with somebody else's drugs.
Mhm.
Let's say that you're holding for Ray
Mhm.
and Sled gets those drugs, and you have to serve some time in custody with the state.
Mhm.
Well, you're going to get out, and Ray might come a calling.
Right.
You might be the person in the state most in need of a firearm
to protect yourself.
And at that point, also the debt has been paid.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, when the judge puts down a sentence, that sentence ought to fit the crime. Let the punishment fit the crime. And when you've paid your debt, then it's over. So,
should be. You
there
shouldn't be
ought not to be
forever
permanent
punishment.
things. Agreed. I also think, actually, I do think that our politicians should be spending more time talking to incarcerated individuals. I think it's a good idea for them to go and spend time understanding what is the prison system like from the people who are living in it, the people who are the customers of this prison industrial complex. Learn more about what's actually happening there, or at least talk to their families and understand what's going on there. Because ever since the 3 strikes you're out law, that, thank you to Joe Biden when he was in Congress for that. That's a lot of sarcasm if you can't hear
It's
it.
a 94 crime bill.
When
Is
we,
that part of it?
That's right. And when we think of this huge, this massive prison industrial complex, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
All right, quick. Tell us how they get in touch with you.
KSouthCarolina.com. That's KASIE, SouthCarolina.com.
Thank you so much. And we'll catch everybody else on the flip side.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there?